Have you ever woken up and felt off? Not sick. Not in pain. Just off. Like something inside your body shifted. Your legs feel heavier. Your balance is a little off. You get tired faster, even though your mind feels the same. Maybe you paused mid-step, mid-staircase, or mid-thought. And asked yourself quietly. Was I always this slow? For a long time, I thought it was just age catching up with my dad. You know, the normal signs of getting older. But then one morning, he couldn't lift the same grocery bag he carried every week. Next, he struggled with the garden hose. No injury. No illness. Just fading. That's when we heard the word sarcopenia. It's not just a word, it's a warning. A condition where your muscles shrink, your strength disappears, and your independence slowly slips away. But here's the thing. It's not just about aging. It's about what you're eating. Because right now, sitting in kitchens across the country, in bowls, on plates, in glasses, are foods that look harmless, even healthy. Yet are quietly destroying the very muscles you rely on to stand, walk, live. And most of us, we eat them every day. Out of habit. Out of love. Out of routine. That's why this video matters. Today, I want to show you 6 foods that older adults should think twice about. Not because they're trendy, but because they silently sabotage your strength. You won't hear this from TV ads. You might not even hear it from your doctor. But you'll hear it from me. Someone who watched his parents grow weaker and decided to learn why. So if your body has been whispering lately, through fatigue, balance, or that strange new ache in your thighs, this might be the most important 45 minutes you've given yourself this year. Stick with me. Your future strength may depend on it. Have you ever noticed the softest things in life can sometimes hurt us the most? My dad, Harold, was always a morning guy. Every day, without fail, he'd shuffle into the kitchen, slice up a few pieces of that white bread he loved so much, pop them in the toaster, and pour himself a cup of black coffee. It was routine. Familiar. He called it comfort food. But comfort has a cost when it comes wrapped in white flour and nostalgia. It wasn't pain that first got his attention. It was something smaller. He told me once, "Son, tying my shoes feels heavier lately. Like gravity got stronger overnight." And I remember watching him sit down slowly, not because of his age, but because of something deeper. Something quieter. That was when I first heard the word sarcopenia. It sounds complicated, but it simply means your muscles are slowly fading away. And what shocked me wasn't the condition itself, it was what feeds it. See, foods made from refined white flour, like the toast Dad loved, or the pastries I used to bring him on Sundays, don't just fill you. They trick you. They're stripped of fiber, vitamins, minerals, everything the body needs to stay balanced. What's left? Fast-absorbing carbohydrates that turn into sugar within minutes. Your blood sugar spikes. Insulin floods your system. And just like that, a chain reaction begins. What does sugar do to muscle? It inhibits protein absorption, fuels inflammation, and acts like rust on metal, slowly eating away at strength. You might still feel full. But it's your fat that's getting fed. Not your muscles. Dad didn't notice it at first. None of us did. But one day, halfway up the stairs, he had to stop and sit. Not because of pain, but because his legs felt hollow. Like someone had quietly taken pieces of them while he wasn't looking. That day changed everything. I looked in his pantry. White bread. Boxed cookies. Instant noodles. All those years of convenience had come back, not as calories, but as consequences. So we started swapping, slowly. Whole grain rye for toast. Quinoa pasta instead of white spaghetti. He added more eggs, more beans, more grilled chicken. And within a few weeks, something changed. He stood up faster. His balance improved. And I'll never forget the smile on his face the first time he climbed those stairs again, without stopping. That's the thing about strength. It doesn't just disappear overnight. But neither does it come back all at once. It's built, or broken, bite by bite. So if you're someone who still reaches for white bread because it's soft, or familiar, or reminds you of your mom's kitchen, I'm not here to judge. But I will say this. Stop eating what steals your strength. You deserve better fuel. And your muscles? They're not asking for perfection. Just a little more support. There's a picture I keep in my mind. It's my mom, Eleanor, sitting at the kitchen table in her soft pink robe. Morning light poured in through the window, her hand gently wrapped around a tall glass of orange juice. It looked so healthy. So loving. That image? It's one I held onto for years. Until I learned what was really in that glass. We've all been told that fruit juice, especially orange juice, is good for us. Vitamin C, natural. Fresh. A smart start to the day. But for older adults, it can be a sweet deception. You see, when you squeeze an orange, something crucial gets left behind. Fiber. And fiber isn't just filler. It's the buffer. It slows sugar absorption, keeps blood sugar steady, helps digestion. But without it, that glass of juice becomes a sugar shot, straight into your bloodstream. Your blood sugar spikes. Insulin rushes in. And just like with refined carbs, the storm begins. But here's what's worse. Most people don't stop at one glass. And one glass often contains the sugar of 3 or 4 oranges, far more than your body, especially after 60, was meant to process at once. My mom didn't feel it right away. But she started getting tired mid-morning. Foggy. Slower to stand. She'd say things like, "I just feel drained." We thought it was age. But her doctor explained something else. Fructose overload. Unlike other sugars, fructose is processed in the liver. And when it's too much, it gets turned into fat, especially around the belly and in the liver itself. That's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Quiet. Dangerous. And common. But what hit me hardest? He told us. Fructose doesn't make you feel full. It tricks your body into staying hungry. That means my mom was drinking juice thinking she was doing something good. While her muscles were getting weaker. Her insulin resistance was creeping up. And she kept feeling tired, without ever knowing why. So what did we do? We didn't ban fruit. We respected it. We replaced morning juice with a whole orange, fiber and all. And on some days, she switched to berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, low in sugar, rich in antioxidants. We made smoothies using the pulp, the peel when possible. She even started drinking warm lemon water with a dash of cinnamon. She said it made her feel cleaner. And it showed. Her energy improved. Her mood lifted. And one morning, she reached for her glass and said, "Funny how something that felt right for decades, was quietly hurting me." That stuck with me. So if you're still holding on to juice as part of your routine, I'm not saying throw it away today. But I am saying this. Your muscles, your liver, your future strength, deserve better. Let them absorb nutrients slowly. Let them feel steady, not spiked. Let them heal. It might just start with what you sip. Comment 1 below if you've had juice this week. And 0 if you're thinking of making a change. We're all in this together. My father believed in sandwiches. Simple. Straightforward. Satisfying. 2 slices of bread, a little mustard, and 3 pieces of ham, folded just right. He said it was his kind of protein. And I used to smile watching him make it. Until I realized that what he thought was fuel was actually stealing his strength. Processed meats. Ham. Bacon. Cold cuts. Sausages. They're easy. Familiar. Full of flavor. And for older adults, they feel like a safe shortcut, especially on days when cooking is too much. But beneath the convenience is a chemical trap. These meats are preserved with nitrites and nitrates, which give them that pink color, long shelf life, and fresh appearance. But inside your body, they become something far more dangerous. Nitrites can convert into nitrosamines, a class of compounds linked to inflammation, oxidative stress, and even certain cancers. But what matters here, what matters to you, is how they affect your muscles. Every bite of processed meat increases the inflammation in your body. And inflammation, when chronic, isn't just a background issue, it's a muscle killer. It blocks protein synthesis, slows down healing, and quietly shrinks muscle fibers, day by day. Dad started noticing it after our walks. He'd say, "Feels like my legs are tired before I even get to the gate." We thought it was just the weather. But his doctor pointed to something else. His diet was packed with preserved protein, but not quality protein. And that wasn't the only problem. Processed meats are also high in sodium, which dehydrates your cells, especially muscle cells, without you even realizing it. That stiffness you feel in the morning, the cramps in your calves at night, they're not just from age. They're signs your muscles are thirsty, struggling. And then there's the fat. Not the good kind from avocado or salmon, but saturated and trans fats that clog your arteries, reduce blood flow to your muscles, and slowly starve them of the oxygen and nutrients they need. So while you may be eating protein, your body, it's just fighting chemicals. But here's the good news. Fixing it doesn't mean giving up on flavor or satisfaction. We swapped Dad's ham sandwich for grilled chicken breast, cooked in batches ahead of time. We added hard-boiled eggs, lentils, and even canned tuna to his meals. We kept it simple, whole, honest. He didn't just eat better. He stood taller, walked farther. His knees stopped complaining. His arms stopped shaking after lifting the groceries. "I feel stable again," he told me one afternoon. And that hit me harder than anything. So if you're still grabbing processed meats because they're fast and familiar, I get it. We all want comfort. But don't let comfort quietly cost you your strength. Because the truth is, not all protein is created equal. And sometimes, the biggest threat to your muscles isn't what you skip. It's what you trust without question. When Jean turned 71, she did something remarkable. She cleared out her pantry. Swapped out sugar for cinnamon. White bread for whole grains. And every morning, she'd blend a green smoothie, bright, fresh, packed with spinach. "If it's green, it's clean," she told me with a proud smile. And for a while, it was working. She had more energy. Her joints felt lighter. She even said she could finally open that stubborn jar of peanut butter again. But then, the fatigue crept in. Slower mornings. Sudden cramps in her calves. Strange aches in her lower back. And worst of all, kidney discomfort that came out of nowhere. Her labs showed something unexpected. Low mineral levels, and early signs of oxalate buildup. And the culprit? Raw spinach. I know. It sounds absurd. How could one of the healthiest vegetables on the planet be causing her harm? But here's what most people don't realize. Spinach, when eaten raw and daily in large amounts, contains a high level of oxalic acid, a compound that binds with calcium and magnesium in your gut. When that happens, your body can't absorb them. They pass right through you, unused. And without those minerals, your muscles suffer. Calcium helps your muscles contract. Magnesium helps them recover. Take both away, and your body starts to feel like a rusty machine. That's what Jean was feeling. Not age. Not overexertion. But slow starvation, at the cellular level. And it doesn't stop there. When oxalates accumulate in the body, they can form kidney stones, a painful and common condition among older adults. But even before that happens, your kidneys are strained. And when your kidneys struggle, your entire mineral balance gets thrown off. Muscle cramps. Fatigue. That weak, sore feeling after doing almost nothing. They might not be normal. They might be a red flag. So we made a change. Not dramatic. Not overwhelming. Just, mindful. Jean started lightly steaming her spinach, a small step that reduced oxalate levels by nearly 40%. She began rotating in kale, romaine, and arugula, greens just as powerful, but gentler on the body. She paired them with foods rich in bioavailable calcium, almonds, sesame seeds, tofu. And slowly, the spark returned. She called me 2 weeks later and said, "I still drink green smoothies. I just make them smarter now." That's what I hope for you too. You don't need to fear spinach. But you do need to respect it. Because even the healthiest foods can hurt you. If you eat them the wrong way, in the wrong amount, or without balance. So ask yourself. What else in your diet have you trusted blindly? Because sometimes, strength doesn't just come from eating more. It comes from understanding better. Drop a herb in the comments if greens are part of your daily routine. And let's learn to make them serve us, not slow us. My sister and I used to joke that Grandpa George ran on coffee. No matter the time of day, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., midnight, his mug was never far. It was his ritual. His rhythm. His warmth. He even had a mug that said, "Don't talk to me till I've had my coffee." We thought it was funny. Charming. Harmless. Until it wasn't. It started with restless nights. He'd wake up feeling more tired than when he went to bed. Then came the leg cramps. The stiffness in the mornings. The sudden, quiet loss of appetite. We brushed it off. He was 78. Maybe it was normal. But then came the fall. A slow, unexplainable moment on the front steps. No dizziness. No trip. Just, a body that didn't respond in time. That was the moment we looked deeper. And the doctor said something I never forgot. Too much caffeine, especially in aging bodies, can quietly rob muscle strength and sleep quality. And most people never see it coming. See, coffee isn't the villain. In moderation, it's packed with antioxidants. But when it becomes a dependence, especially for older adults, it turns on you. Here's what was happening inside Grandpa's body. Coffee acted as a diuretic, pulling water and critical minerals, like magnesium and calcium, out of his system. Those minerals. They're essential for muscle contraction, relaxation, and recovery. Without them. Cramping. Twitching. Fatigue. Worse yet, caffeine spikes cortisol, your stress hormone. And in older bodies, that cortisol sticks around longer. Cortisol breaks down muscle tissue, especially when it's chronically elevated. So while Grandpa was sipping to wake up, his body was quietly breaking down, sip by sip. And then there's sleep. Caffeine doesn't just keep you up, it steals deep sleep. The kind where your body heals, rebuilds, and restores. Grandpa didn't realize it, but his 3 cups of coffee a day, sometimes 4, weren't giving him energy. They were withholding recovery. We made a change together. He switched his evening coffee to warm rooibos tea. He added more magnesium-rich foods, like cooked spinach, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. And he set a new rule for himself. No coffee after 2 p.m. Grandpa's orders. A few weeks in, something shifted. He didn't nap as often. His leg cramps vanished. And one afternoon, sitting on the porch, he told me. I thought coffee kept me going. Turns out, it was holding me back. So if you're like him, if your mug is more familiar than your water glass, just pause. Your body might not be asking for another cup. It might be asking for a break. Comment hot beverage if coffee is part of your daily ritual. Or droplet if you're thinking of cutting back. Because sometimes, what feels comforting is quietly costing you the strength to stand tall. You've made it to the end. And if you're still here, it means something in your heart is stirring. Maybe a memory. Maybe a habit you're beginning to question. Let's take a moment, and breathe together. Because today, we uncovered some hard truths. Truths that, at first glance, may have felt like betrayal. White bread. Orange juice. The bacon in your fridge. The spinach in your smoothies. Even that morning cup of comfort. They weren't trying to hurt you. They were part of your rhythm. Your routine. Your story. But sometimes, the things that carried us through life aren't the things that will carry us forward. Here's what I've learned, watching my parents, my grandparents, even myself. Muscle isn't just about weightlifting or gyms. It's about independence. It's about climbing stairs without gripping the rail. Getting up from bed without hesitation. Holding your grandchild without needing to sit right away. Strength is freedom. And freedom starts in the smallest of choices. You don't need to throw everything out. You don't need to fear your food. You just need to make one small change. Today. Maybe that means swapping cold cuts for boiled eggs. Or choosing tea over coffee after 3 p.m. Or cooking your greens instead of blending them raw. Start where you are. With what you have. With love. Your body is still listening. Still adapting. Still willing to rebuild. Even in your 60s. Your 70s. Your 80s. It's not too late. It never was. So here's my final question for you. What change will you make today, just one, that your future self will thank you for? Let's start there. One step. One swap. One new beginning. Comment flex biceps if this video gave you clarity. Or red heart if it gave you hope. And if you found it helpful, share it with someone you love. A parent, a spouse, a neighbor. Someone who deserves strength just as much as you do. Because we're not just aging. We're still living. And we deserve to live well, together.